Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of the Otaku Experience over here on the Burnett Network. Once again, I am your, of course, your host, Israel. I don't know if this episode is coming out a bit late or not. I just know that I'm filming this later into the weekend than I usually do, and that'll affect how soon I send it to Rob, and that could affect how late this is. But there is an episode. I am not late. Well, I guess I might be late, but there is an episode, and I did not miss it. I'll just say this. There's nothing to talk about. It is so slow. There's no, I mean, we have the Gundam story. We have a Crunchyroll drama story, an update in the Kyoto Animation Arsonist. If you saw the intro, you know the big things, but that's really it. And then we have some piracy news, and that's all. Like, nothing happened this week. It was so slow, other than like this Gundam news. There's actually like no real like movement happening on a lot of stuff, which is very irritating. But anyway, you guys don't want to hear about me rant about all this. I will say this, because for a while, and especially like during the seasonal times, which is all the time, I like to start an episode with my thoughts on that week's episodes of anime, you know, whichever one stuck out to me. I've only watched the first episode of Zenshu. I haven't watched anything else, and I'm getting to it right now. I'm still trying to catch up on some fall shows. I think I have a few more episodes in Blue Box till I'm current, and then I haven't finished Bleach yet, so I need to watch that, and then I'm gonna move on. All right, guys, hang on, guys. It's a work in progress. We're working on it. Okay, stop being rude to me. I'm gonna drink some coffee. Let's get into the big stuff. All right, so like I already said, just based on like the intro and in the banter, we're getting a live-action Gundam movie. There's no need to be like, well, you know, Gundam was founded back in, like, you don't need to know all this. We're getting a Gundam movie, a live-action one from Studio Legendary Entertainment, which is a Hollywood studio. There's going to be a Hollywood live-action entertainment, and Legendary, if you don't know, they've done things like, I believe they did Pacific Rim, which obviously that's a one-to-one. Most recently, they're doing Dune. They also do the Godzilla and Kong films that are released, that are the Hollywood-made ones. So they're no stranger to like scale, to intergalactic stuff, to monsters, to big robots. This seems like a match made in heaven. But let's read this article real quick from Anime Corner, where they say Mobile Suit Gundam series is getting a Hollywood live-action adaptation, which is tentatively titled Gundam. That seems good to me. Just leave it like that. Bandai Namco Filmworks, a subsidiary of the Bandai Namco Group, announced today that it has signed a joint investment agreement with Legendary Entertainment, headquartered in the California, United States of America, for the live-action adaptation, which is planned for worldwide release. It was previously announced that Jim Mickle from Sweet Tooth will serve as the director. Now, I don't know too much about this Jim Mickle guy. I didn't see Sweet Tooth. So let me actually look up what else he's done. Okay. So he did a whole bunch of nothing. I can't even see Sweet Tooth. Where is it? Anyway, so that's probably my biggest hang-up so far, is I don't know who this director is. I haven't seen any of their work. They might be amazing, but I don't know because I haven't seen any of it. But I still, you know, with Legendary being behind it, being the studio, I still think that this could be cool. At the very least, this could be like Pacific Rim, which is just like epic, like, whoa, like just do Pacific Rim again. Not the sequel. Then you could have Dune, which is like this epic, serious opera. Or you could have just goofy fun times like in the Godzilla Kong films. I would prefer either Pacific Rim or Dune. But, you know, all three of them, I guess, are fine. I'll be entertained by all three of those. So I guess that's fine. Moving on to the rest of this article. In addition to the movie, it was also announced that Bandai Namco Filmworks America, LLC, will be established on April 1st, 2025. The goal is to support the global expansion of the Gundam brand, with the North American subsidiary set to operate under Bandai Namco Holdings USA, 100% subsidiary of Bandai Namco Filmworks. It will focus on expanding licensing efforts and strengthening the franchise's global market presence. Legendary Entertainment is a major American movie production. We already know this. So essentially what they're saying is that Bandai Namco is already expanding, and they're expanding into North America, and they're also expanding into other markets. And I think the reason they're doing that is because while you have the mainline Gundam stuff coming out of Japan, I think they also are like, hey, what if we like highlighted different cultures, we highlighted different things, we made it for this specific region, country, whatever, by having like our own like little Gundam flagpoles in all these different places. And as you can see, we're getting a Gundam live action film from Hollywood because we've gotten plenty from Japan, but we're getting a Hollywood live action one that's clearly going to be hand in hand with this North American subsidiary that's launching at the beginning of April. So there's that, and I think that this is all really cool. They did release a teaser poster. I don't know if it's a poster, but it's a visual of some kind. Co-production of the Gundam live-action movie has begun. So I don't know when exactly they're expecting a release date. They did say that the agreement was finalized in January 2025, so this is very recent. But in terms of actually it coming out, it depends. It depends on how fast this production moves. Like once they start filming, the movie could come out like 9 months later. But we just have to get to that filming state. I don't know what state this movie's in terms of its writing. I don't know if it's just in development or if they've just, been like, hey, we're going to do a Gundam film, you direct or tag on, and now we're actually going to start the process of even figuring out what this is. So I don't know what stage they're at in the process, and that can change drastically when this will come out. So I would say if everything goes smoothly, like if we don't have a bunch of delays, a bunch of hiccups and stuff like that, you can probably expect this to be like 2027, maybe like summer of 2027. But if things go really well and they like keep it really close to the vest and they just like, and they know where they're going, then, you could potentially even see this in like mid to late next year. We'll just have to see. I just hope they don't rush this, but it will be cool to see Gundam in live action. We've seen Gundam in live action, but Gundam in like a huge, ginormous, legendary scale budget live action. That will be insane. And I'll just be there for that. And that'll be fun. I hope Rob's excited about this because I want to know his thoughts because I know he loves Gundam. And I don't know if he's seen this story. So anyway, Rob, what did you think? All right, so there's a situation going on right now with a Crunchyroll former employee. Let's just keep in mind that this is a former employee of Crunchyroll, but everything he's saying is just accusations and allegations. None of this has been absolutely confirmed. So just, I have to, give you that obligatory asterisk. So that way, Anyway. So we're going to start with this article from CBR. Severance in exchange for silence. Crunchyroll accused of firing employee after ADA request. Okay. So they said, major anime streaming service Crunchyroll has been accused of ostracizing and failing to respond to the verbal abuse of an employee with a mental health diagnosis before later firing him from the company. A post from senior software engineer Sean Hoffman detailed serious allegations regarding his treatment following his mental health struggles. Hoffman shared on LinkedIn that his mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer, making 2024 the hardest year of his life. After Hoffman shared his diagnosis and anxiety and major depressive disorder with the company, he alleged that instead of support, he received hostility and was met with ostracization, verbal abuse, and later termination. His statement can be read on LinkedIn or below. And so here's the LinkedIn. We'll just full screen that. So Sean Hoffman, he said, how Crunchyroll treated me after my hardest year. I never imagined I'd be writing this post. I gave my all to Crunchyroll, working nights and weekends driven by passions for the fans and the platform, even while facing one of the most devastating challenges of my life, my mother's terminal cancer. I remained dedicated to my work. When the stress, depression, and anxiety became overwhelming, I was diagnosed with anxiety and major depressive disorder and requested an ADA accommodation, a reasonable step that should have been met with understanding and support. Instead, I experienced hostility. A manager I didn't even report to cursed me out and made an extremely obscene gesture during a workplace conversation. I documented the incident and reported it to HR. Instead of taking corrective action, I noticed a shift in how I was treated, subtle at first, then more overt. I raised more concerns about workplace treatment, professionalism, and respect. Shortly after, Crunchyroll made the decision to terminate my employment, citing a policy violation. The manager in this photo, he remains employed. Meanwhile, I am now without income while I care for my mother, a 52-year-old substitute teacher who is battling cancer in a broken U.S. healthcare system that has left her unable to afford treatment. Leadership knew, HR knew, yet this is how they responded. I share this not just for myself, but for the many professionals out there who face retaliation for speaking up, who are forced to choose between their livelihoods and their dignity. We often talk about company values, but how often do those values hold up when companies need them most? Have you ever been in a similar situation? How do we hold companies accountable to their own principles? Let's talk. Okay. So there was that. Pretty hefty allegations there. If so, it's just like, man, like, you don't think like Crunchyroll can get any worse. I mean, just based on all the stuff that we've been seeing, how the company's just been acting, them like secretly changing their terms of service, and all these things we've been talking about the past, few months, year. Just like, man, like if this is true, this is just like, it's crazy. Per Hoffman's timeline, he approached Crunchyroll for ADA accommodations for employees with specific needs. After his diagnosis, at some point in the future, he was cursed out by a manager for an unstated reason and received an extremely obscene gesture during a workplace call. As shown above, this gesture was a middle finger. He documented and reported the incident, but says no corrective action was taken, instead himself receiving blowback, which was subtle at first, then more overt. After raising concerns about his treatment, Hoffman says Crunchyroll made the decision to terminate my employment, citing a policy violation, and was allegedly offered severance in exchange for not going public about his treatment. CBR reached out to Crunchyroll for comments. This related to Sean's allegations. Any investigation into whether proper protocols regarding a situation were followed, any review into whether current protocols were fit for purpose, and the investigation into alleged manager's actions. However, as of writing, CBR has received no response. Per Hoffman's LinkedIn, his contributions to the company included updates to Crunchyroll's video encoding, anti-piracy efforts, building Crunchyroll's CDN, and involvement in the launch of Kaiju number 8 livestream and Dragon Ball Daima simulcast. 5 months ago, he thanked colleagues at Crunchyroll for their support during his mother's battle with cancer. He lays blame for his subsequent treatment with HR and the leadership. Hoffman's posts grow even more concerning following multiple recent allegations of hostile working conditions at Crunchyroll. Voice actor David Wald accused the company of going through his fan mail without his knowledge. Remember, we talked about that. Disposing and distributing the contents among themselves. He announced that he would never work with the company again, leaving behind his role as Gajeel in the popular fairy tale anime series. Crunchyroll announced it was investigating in October, but has not made findings public as of February 8, 2025. You know what they wanted? They wanted us to forget about it. And you know what? It worked. We kind of forgot about it. No one's talking about it anymore. So, at least not that I've seen or heard of. The discourse on this has completely faded away, and Crunchyroll's probably really happy about that. Furthermore, a bombshell Bloomberg report that interviewed multiple Crunchyroll former and current staff found that the company morale had fallen, citing executives who were out of touch in multiple rounds of layoffs. Some reports regarding tension post-Crunchyroll and Funimation appeared to have been backed up by recent comments from a Crunchyroll vice president. She said, "We have been working hard to bridge the gap between the two teams with similar but different philosophies to bring them together. Thanks to each member respecting our differences, understanding, and citing their respective roles, we're finally able to start functioning as one team." Okay, that's a lot, but we needed to read it. Just insane stuff if true. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you guys know this. I've said this many times. I am a huge Crunchyroll fan. I'm a huge Crunchyroll supporter. I want them to succeed because they are, at least in this region of the world, they're really the only like true dedicated anime service. I mean, Netflix has anime on it, but they're not a completely dedicated anime service. Crunchyroll is essentially like, when you think of anime, you think of Crunchyroll, at least here in the United States. I want Crunchyroll to succeed because if Crunchyroll succeeds, more people come in to watch anime, and the anime community is happier. Crunchyroll becomes more successful, and the cycle just continues and continues. But with Crunchyroll continuing just to like be goofy, they not only turn fans away, but they then hurt themselves because the fans are turning away and going to piracy, going to other services. And then Crunchyroll is just like, and then they change their policies to make it worse for the people who are still using it because they're blaming us or something for everything that's going on. It seems like from everything we're hearing, with the other allegations that they mentioned that we've talked about in previous episodes, and also this one here, and just the way that even just like a few weeks ago, where they changed their terms of service after, or maybe that was last week, but where they changed their terms of service after being hacked and information coming out and things like that. It just seems like a bunch of children running this thing, and it's like, hey man, are you serious? Like, can we be more? Like, can we act like adults for a second, please? Like, I don't understand. And it seems like really all they care about is their bottom line, and they're not thinking about anything else. And if you care about your bottom line, yeah, sometimes like just shafting your workers is the way to go. And then other times, most times, if you make things better for your workers and your employees and for the fans, things get better. In countries where they have a 4-day work week, or in schools where they don't have homework or things like that, you see productivity go up and you see results go up. In the schools, the grades go up. In the work environments, the work productivity and work morale goes up. I'm not saying they need to like give them a 4-day work week. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you give people better working conditions and you make it a better working environment, not only do you have happier employees, you end up having better results, and the better results bring in more consumers and more customers. It's baffling to me that like how many studios, or companies, not even just like studios or just Crunchyroll or whatever, just how many like corporations don't realize this, that if you're a good company and you treat your workers with dignity and respect, all of that trickles down to the consumer. You might not think it will. You'll be like, oh, well, it's coming out of our pocket and we got to do this and we got to do that. It ultimately makes everything better. So I'm sorry for Sean if all this is true. And I hope that, he gets the help that he needs, because all he was asking for was like, hey, I need to take care of my mom. Can you please accommodate me with something? And Crunchyroll was like, how dare you ask us for that? Get back in the freaking line. And he was like, well, I need to take care of my mom. And then, they flip him the bird and they, then they just get rid of him. And then after that, try to offer him money just to not say anything. Once again, assuming these allegations are true. And if all that's true, it's just like, what? I don't understand. So I hope that his mother gets better. I hope that he is able to find a new job or something comes out of this where people can hear about this and maybe he gets offered a position somewhere else. I don't know. I hope that he gets what he needs to provide for his mom and to take care of her in this moment. Cause this is just really stupid and really tragic if this is true. And I'm just so tired of reading bad Crunchyroll news all the time, because like I said, I am a huge Crunchyroll fan and I want them to succeed. But when they do this stuff over and over and over again, it makes it so hard to want to support them. It makes it so hard to keep my Crunchyroll subscription every month, cause it's just like, oh, you're being goofy. Like, I have a philosophy where if I know I can afford something, I will pay for it. And if I can't afford it, I just won't have it. So I don't pirate for those reasons. Because I can afford to have a streaming service. And if I didn't, I would just wait until I had the means to. Or I would, share a subscription with a sibling or with a friend who does have it or something like that. But it really makes it hard to continue supporting Crunchyroll, and it makes you just want to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to support them anymore. And I'm just going to go and use a piracy site. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but it's like, it makes you want to. And it's Crunchyroll's own actions that are pushing people away. And it's ridiculous. All right, so I believe in the last episode we talked about an update with the Kyoto Animation Arsonist case where he withdrew his appeal against the death penalty, and we talked about what some of the families of the people who died, what their thoughts were on this. Well, now it looks like that the arsonist's lawyers are trying to have the court nullify the withdrawal of the appeal, which is just kind of, you can read this if you want, which is just kind of like, maybe they think like, maybe, like, bro, you're going to like actually die now. I don't know what their reason is, but if he chooses to get rid of it, Okay, here's something they said. Report says not unprecedented for the Japanese legal system, of course, to nullify withdrawals of appeal if the dependent seems unable to protect their rights due to shock of a death. Okay, so they think he's not in his right mind. And they're like, hey, he didn't mean to do that. He's not thinking properly. But I don't know. I mean, it's his choice. It's his life that he's deciding what's going to happen with, or being okay with what's going to happen with. And I mean, maybe they're right. Maybe he's like, it's no point anyway, so I'll just withdraw the appeal. But we talked about the different theories that the people had, and I don't know what he's thinking. I'm not there. I can't really comment on any of that, but it's just an update in the thing, and we'll see if that actually happens. I don't think it will, but we shall see. And then I think we're actually going to be, I know they already have given out a guilty verdict, but we'll actually see what the sentence is here, I think soon. So we'll just keep an eye out for that. All right. And the last big thing of this week, we have some more piracy news. We're going to do what we did last week, where I don't give commentary because my thoughts on all this, and it's the same thing over and over. We're just going to go over, the quick and easy, we're just going to go over like everything. You know what I mean? Real quick, and that's it. Okay, so a new bill is being introduced in U.S. Congress to effectively kill anime and other piracy. The Motion Pictures Association, comprising Netflix, Disney, Amazon, Sony, and more, has backed a new bill bolstering efforts to ban access to anime, live action, novel, music, and other forms of piracy sites in the U.S. and potentially beyond. Via Torrent Freak on January 29th, 2025, U.S. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren tabled H.R. 791, the Foreign Anti-Digital Piracy Act, or FADPA. If enacted, copyright holders and exclusive licensees, collectively referred to as petitioners, will be able to petition a U.S. District Court to issue a preliminary order to certain U.S. service providers, Google, Cloudflare, and broadband providers. An initial step in forcing them to block customer access to foreign piracy platforms, websites, and apps. The preliminary step is to allow the court to conduct a risk assessment into whether the order will interfere with user access to non-infringing material on other website or online service, significantly burden the service provider, including the operation of the system or the network of the service provider, or to serve the public interest. So essentially, they're saying like, hey, like first they have to get past the hurdle of, we're totally not going to like abuse this and like, try to take down other things that we just don't like. So once it's like clear that that they're only going to use this on actual, for real piracy places, then they'll actually be able to start making some movement on that. Then we have One Piece publisher targets Maganato and Mangaka Kalat and 4 other pirate websites in new subpoena requests. Shueisha just continues their tirade. They did this last week where they just keep taking on these places. Shueisha, the publisher of Weekly Shonen Jump One Piece manga, has targeted several major manga piracy websites in the new subpoena request, including Manganato, Mangaka Kalat, and 4 others. According to legal documents filed on February 4th, Shueisha has filed a subpoena request against the popular CDN Cloudflare seeking identifying information regarding operators of 6 manga piracy sites, many of them among the most popular names. All sites listed in the subpoena request relate to infringements of Arichiro Oda's One Piece manga. Currently, the biggest manga among the sites is chopmanganato.to, with a massive 65.2 million monthly visits in December. Readers can check out the full list. I thought I was about to say readers can read the manga here, like put a link to the website. That'd have been hilarious. Then the last one is major anime piracy site Kick-Ass Anime hit with phishing warning, which means that, it's like warning the users not to use it, as operators scramble to fix it. As shared on Reddit and reported by Torrent Freak, visitors to Kick-Ass Anime were greeted with the phishing warnings a few days ago. The warnings read, "Warning, suspected phishing site ahead. This link has been flagged as phishing. We suggest you avoid it. Phishing refers to pretending to be a trustworthy source to entice visitors to give up details like passwords and banking information. Users have since been redirected to new domains, with one of those affected, kickassanime.mx. Bringing over 20 million visits in December 2024. So, obviously, I hate when websites do this. So, honestly, based. Anyway, so there's all the piracy news. Yeah. All right, with all the big stuff out of the way, it's time to get into the most funny part of the show, or the most, I don't know. It used to be the goofy woofy, but now it's not. We're just going to keep up with the anime community. All right, so the voice actress of Goku has deemed that she will never die. She won't be stopped until she's 182 years old, according to her, where she said this. I can talk any length of lines, but they're lines. If they're in a script, I can say any wonderful words, but if it's not in a script, I can't say anything. I'm a quiet Nozawa. I don't know what to do. I don't have a script today, but I'm really happy to receive this award, and I thought, why me? But I guess I'll accept whatever I can get. I'm getting old now. So she got an award at the Mainichi Art Award ceremony. Yeah. Where's the part where she says she's not going to? Okay, here we go. I don't know how much longer I can do, but the age I've decided on is that I'd like to keep doing it until I'm 182 years old. So if you'd see me, I'd be happy if you would say good luck. Well, good luck, and we hope that you don't die. We hope you live forever. Even though I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball fan, I mean, the voice of Goku is freaking, iconic. So hopefully she lives forever. All right, we're going to do the audience rankings from this past week, starting over with Anime Corner, where we have at number 1, ReZero Season 3, which is back finally. It came back this week. I need to watch it because I was really enjoying this season, and it's a new entry into the top 10. Apothecary Diary Season 2 went up 3 spots to number 2. Solo Leveling Season 2 is at the same rank as last week. Sakamoto Days is at the same rank as last week. My Happy Marriage Season 2 went up 2 spots to number 5. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun went down 4 spots to number 6. I Have a Crush at Work went down 6 spots to number 7. Blue Box went down 2 spots to number 8. I'm Getting Married to a Girl I Hate in My Class went down 1 spot to number 9. And The 100 Girlfriends went down 1 spot to number 10. Going over to anime trending, we have Toilet Bound Hanako-kun Season 2 went up 1 spot to number 1. The Apothecary Diary Season 2 went down to number 2. The Solo Leveling Season 2 went up 2 spots to number 3. 100 Girlfriends has spent 2 weeks at number 4. My Happy Marriage went down 2 spots to number 5. Sakamoto Days has spent 2 weeks at number 6. ReZero is back in the top 10. New entry at number 7. Medalist went up 2 spots to number 8. I May Be a Guild Receptionist is a new entry into the top 10 at number 9. And Ameku MD Doctor Detective is a new entry into the top 10 at number 10. Then going over to the Japanese animation rankings, these are from the Kanto region of Japan, where there's over 40 million people, and they use this to gauge what the Japanese audience is watching. Okay, here we go. So The Apothecary Diaries, as expected, is here with a 4.2 household rating. And One Piece is here with a 2.7 household rating. And that's really it. I'm not going to click on Bumimiro again. We know what that is, even though I forget like every week. It's a butt detective one. I know what it is. All right, and the last thing, of course, we're going to do our anime announcements speed round. These aren't necessarily announcements, but these are announcements, updates in production, anything like that I think is interesting and warrants being mentioned, but it doesn't warrant a whole section of the show. You know what I mean? So starting off, we have My Senpai is Annoying released its final volume. I watched the anime. I thought the anime was super cute. So cool for them. I wonder if we're ever going to get a season 2. But anyway, Oshinoko season 3 is coming in 2026, which my initial reaction was, why so far away? But I guess, maybe they slowed down production. And now that the show, now that the manga is over, we have a key visual as well. Now that the manga is over, maybe they're going to try to just go straight to the finish line. I think I heard someone say if they kept doing the show at the pace they're going, they could do the entire series in 4 or 5 seasons. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I heard. And so if that's the case, maybe they're trying to do this and this will be an extended season. I have no idea. But anyway, there's that. Coming out next year. And then we have Spy X Family getting a update from the creator where he said, do we have an image of it? Here we go. Okay, I'm not going to read that. I apologize due to the year. This is from the creator. I apologize due to the year-end and New Year's proofreading schedule. The pages have become extremely short, but considering the content, we are treating it as part of the main story. He wrote, "Thank you for your understanding." And he's talking about a short episode, or chapter 111, which is a short chapter. And he was just like, "Hey, sorry guys, it was short. We'll be back soon." And anyway, the Spy Family creator is just adorable because he's always nice and apologizing about everything. But then we got some stuff for the live action One Piece. live action One Piece season 2 has wrapped filming, and now they're just in post-production, which is cool, and it's coming out later this year. And then also One Piece season 3 live action has already been scheduled for its production for the 2025-2026, and it's already on the Writers Guild of America West website, which is nice because, you know, something that we've had in this world that we're living in is these big shows have like 2 years between seasons. I mean, it's literally happening with One Piece between season 1 and season 2. So this maybe signals that One Piece season 3 will come out next year, and maybe they can keep on that pace. But anyways, guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Otaku Experience. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Remember that the show is also available on Spotify. I have been remembering to upload them there. So you can listen to it there if you want to do that. And there are links in the description for all of my social media, as always, if you want to keep up with me outside of the show. If you're new to the Burnett work, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that way these new videos and Rob streams and all the stuff that we do over here show up in your feed when they are released. And with all that being said, I will see you all next time.